Hello and welcome. My name is Naseem, and in this video, we will try to understand how we can make some automation steps on a given Excel file. So, Microsoft Excel plays a vital role in most of the organizations because business users use it to collect data and to manage data in row and column format. And in this video, we will see how we can make some automation steps like adding a new row into a given Excel file, deleting a row, making some changes into some existing rows. So without a further ado, let's get started. To do so, what you have to do, you need to log in into your Microsoft 365 account, go to Power Automate, and you will be landed on this page. Once you landed on this page, you need to click on My Flows to create a new flow. Under new flows, you will see there are a number of different sections, and in here we are just going to create a Power Automate Cloud flow. Now when it comes to Power Automate Cloud flow, and if we wanted to make some automation steps on a given Excel file, there is a limitation. And what is the limitation? Limitation is that Power Automate Cloud cannot work with an Excel which is situated somewhere in your computer's local directory. If I go back to my computer's local drive, some folder under it, and for example, if we wanted to work with this Excel file, Power Automate Cloud version of it cannot work with it because of the fact that it cannot interact with any file which is situated in your local machine. Instead, Power Automate can work with an Excel file which is situated in any of the cloud service. Cloud service like SharePoint or OneDrive. And in this video, we will try to understand how we can make some automation steps on an Excel file which is situated somewhere on a given SharePoint site. To do it, very first thing we need to go back to our SharePoint site which we have, because SharePoint is also a product under Microsoft 365, so we can access SharePoint from this list. So click on these 9 dots, click on SharePoint, and you will be landed on a new tab. Because of the fact that we don't have any SharePoint site till now in our instance, so the very first thing we need to do is to create a SharePoint site first. And this is where we can create a SharePoint site. So click on here and it will ask us whether you wanted to create a team site or a communication site. Because we are just going to create a team site, so we need to select this one. Select a name for the team site. So let me give it a fake name, something like Finance Automation Center. All of the information will be filled by the SharePoint itself. What we need to do is click on next. If you wanted to add some member into this SharePoint site, the members which are there in Microsoft 365 instance, and in our case, Microsoft has created some fake users, so you can add those fake users into this SharePoint site. What we have to do, we need to search with the given name and it would be added for you. So Alex Wilbur is one of the member, and we can add that member into this SharePoint site which we are just going to create. You can change the access level of this given member, so you can add this employee as a member or an owner of this SharePoint site. So let's keep him as a member and finish it. Finance Automation Center SharePoint site has been created for you. Now the next thing we need to do is to go under Documents, and we need to create an Excel file here. Under Documents, we can create an Excel file by clicking on New button, and Forms for Excel workbook. We need to select Excel workbook. It will open a new, once we click on Excel workbook, it will open a new tab and a new Excel workbook will be created for you. And this is where we need to create some fake data so that we can read this Excel file from Power Automate flow and we can perform some automation steps. What we have to do, we need to create some fake data here. So let's consider that this Excel file is containing some employees data. So let's create some fake data. So we have serial number, we have first name, we have last name, contact number. Let's consider that in this Excel file we have only these 4 columns. So this is some of the fake data we have created. The next step what we are going to do is to read this Excel file from Power Automate, and we will try to do some automation steps like entering some new rows data, editing some existing data, updating some data, and things like that. So we will just try to make some automation steps in this Excel file. Now let me clarify here, there is one more limitation when we work with Power Automate Cloud version of it. So Power Automate cannot read the plain Excel files, but it can read the Excel files which have tables in it. So what we have to do, we need to create a table. So go insert, click on table, select my table has headers because this table has serial number, first name, last name, contact number, and these are the headers. So we need to select my table has headers. Click OK, and one table will be created for you. To see the name of the table and other details, go to the table design, and in here you will see a table 1. Right, so we have created the table, we have created the Excel file, we have created some fake data along with some headers of the Excel file. Now it's time to create some automation steps by using Power Automate. Close it because it is already saved, and if you wanted to rename it, let's rename it. I have renamed it. Now the next step which we need to do is to go back to Power Automate and create a new cloud flow. To create a new cloud flow, what we have to do, go to the new flow, and this time let's not go for the automated cloud flow, but let's do some instant cloud flow. Select it, name your cloud flow, test Excel automation is the name of the cloud flow which you are going to create. And when it comes to trigger, this time we are going to trigger it manually because we are just testing it. So let's select manually trigger a flow. Click on create, and this is where you will be landed. Trigger is manually trigger a flow. As a new step, you need to select Excel Online. Under Excel Online, you will see a number of different operations which you can perform on a given Excel file. You can delete a row, you can get a row, you can get worksheets, list rows present in a table. So let's try to perform this action. List rows present in a Excel. In our Excel, there are only one rows which is presented. So we will try to read this data by Power Automate. Now, when we select it, it will ask us the location of the given file, the given Excel file which we are going to create or to automate. In here, you need to select the location. So we have created an Excel new SharePoint site which is Finance Automation Center. So you will see that Finance Automation Center in here. Select it because this file is under documents. So we need to select document here. What is the file name? This is where we need to select the file. So if we will click on this folder icon, it will open us test Excel. So what it is literally doing is that it is just going under documents. So let's select it. Table which we have created table 1. So we need to select table 1 here. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, so in here, if you will go to the table design, you will see this table 1. This is what this Power Automate is trying to read. So we have given the location and the table and all of the necessary information to Power Automate. It's time to run it. So before run, let's save it and test it. So we need to manually test it, select it, continue, run flow. As soon as it ran, it will show us what is the logs of this run cycle. So we can see that in here, it read this Excel file and we wanted to see what is the output of this given Excel file. This is where we need to have a little knowledge of coding. And this is not a hard code C# or C knowledge, but it's a JSON. Power Automate requires a little knowledge of JSON, the JSON data format. And this is where we will talk about what JSON actually means is. So let's click on see the result, copy it. So this is the JSON file, JSON data we have, this Power Automate Cloud Flow has read for you. And it is actually giving us this detail in a JSON format. To read this JSON data in a proper format, we need to do some other steps. So in new tab, search for JSON formatter online. This website, jsonformatter.organization, you can format a given JSON file or JSON data in a proper format. So what it actually means is that this activity, this list rows present in a table, is actually reading this Excel file and giving this data into a JSON format. And this is where we can read this data. So as of now, there is no need to worry about the JSON data. I'm just going ahead and giving you a very high level idea what is JSON data is all about. So every Power Automate activity will have this JSON data in two different segments. One would be the segment under where you will get status code, header, and all of these, the basic data, basic information of that activity. It is nothing to do with the Excel data, but the body is the parameter which is containing the data for that specific activity. So under body we have a parameter called value, and under value we will get the rows data of a given Excel file. So under rows we have a column called serial number, and this value is 1. First name is the Alex and the last name is John, and the contact number is this one. So if we go back to the Excel file, so Power Automate has read this data in a format of key and value. So first row, the serial key has the value 1. The first row, first name key value has the Alex value. The last name key has the John value, and the contact number key has the 6523 value. If we go back to the JSON file, this is what you will get. In case of multiple rows data, you will get this data somewhere here. Let me go ahead and demonstrate how we will get this information in the case of multiple rows in a given Excel file. So let's go ahead and add one more row. Let me add my name here. Save it, close it, and run the Power Automate bot one more time. Click on test manually, run flow. The output of this activity will be again in JSON file. So click on download, copy this JSON file, go back to the JSON formatter, paste this file here. This time under body and under values you will get two different JSON objects. The first object will be the data of first row, and the second object will be the data of second row. So this is where, and this is how you can read an Excel file, and which is situated somewhere on a given SharePoint site, and this is how you can read this Excel file. Now let's go ahead, and after reading this Excel file we wanted to add one more row. So again click Excel, and we need to there are different activities. This time we wanted to add one more row. So how we can do it? We can do it by using an activity called add a row into a table. Let's select it. Again you need to provide the different information. So under Finance Automation Center is the SharePoint group we are talking about. The document library is the documents, and test Excel file, and we need to select the table as well. In our case table is table 1. As soon as we select it, it will read different parameters of that Excel file, and it will ask us the detail of a given Excel file. So in this time let's do it 3. The first name is the test first name, or as let's provide a specific name. So in this case Jacob, and the last name is Charles, and the contact number is, for example, this one. Go back. If you wanted to delete this action, you are free to do so, but we are not going to delete it. So save it and test it. Click on run flow. Done. This flow has been ran successfully. Now to check whether it has added this row or not, go back to our SharePoint site and open it. And this time you will see 3 different rows. Yeah, so our Power Automate has added this row, and this is how you can add different row. So this is how you can create an Excel file. You can add different rows, you can read the data of an given Excel file, and beside it there are different activities which you can use to perform automation steps on a given Excel file, like delete a row, get a row, get worksheets in a given Excel file, run a script. If we are having some script on a given Excel file, you can run it from here, update an existing row, add a key value to a table, add a row into a table. If you wanted to add a row into a table, you can add this by using this activity. Create a table. If you want to create some table in a given Excel file, you can do by this activity. Create a worksheet. So I think by now you will have a fair understanding how we can automate different steps on a given Excel file which is situated somewhere on given SharePoint site. In case of any query, please feel free to make a comment. I will try to help you out. And thank you for watching this video. If you like this stuff, I will really appreciate if you go back, subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. Thank you so much for your time. See you in next lecture.